Absolute value to add integers. Think about this question during the lesson. Nina took a photo at the shore, but the photo is tilted. So she uses an app to adjust the tilt and make the photo look level. The tilt tool is set at 0. First, she adjusts the photo by -4 degrees. Then, she adjusts it another -6 degrees. What is the total tilt adjustment? First, why is the total tilt adjustment negative? Both adjustments were in the negative direction, so the total tilt adjustment is negative. Which operation is most useful to solve this problem? Add the amounts of the adjustments to each other. Then give the answer a negative sign to show the direction of the tilt. Use a number line to represent the total tilt adjustment. Remember, the tilt of the photo started at 0 degrees. To show Nina's first adjustment, start at 0. Move 4 units left to show an adjustment of -4 degrees. Then, to show her second adjustment, move another 6 units left, which represents -6 degrees. The total adjustment is -10 degrees. Because you moved 4 units, and then 6 units in the same direction on the number line, add the absolute values to find the amount of tilt. Because you moved to the left twice, the sum is negative. The total tilt adjustment was -10. Compare the two methods we used. How are they alike? How are they different? Both ways show that finding the total tilt is an addition problem in the negative direction. One way uses a number line model, and the other way uses absolute value.
Dana recorded a temperature drop of 2 degrees and a second temperature drop of 3 degrees. What is the total change in temperature?
So we have to put here the temperature dropped 2 degrees. And by indicating that it dropped, that is negative. And a second temperature drop of 3 would be -3 degrees. And we would need to put those in parentheses because we have that plus sign there. So we then have -2 and 3. And I'm going to show that number line like they did in the example. I'm going to start with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so if it, 5, 6, I just have a couple more. And so if we first start at 0, let's say, and our temperature dropped the first 2 degrees, and then it dropped another 1, 2, 3 degrees. Altogether, that would be 5 degrees, and it's going to be a -5. So the sign of the sum is going to be negative, and the total change in temperature would be 5 degrees.
Kara entered her chili recipe into the neighborhood cook-off. 9 judges rated each recipe with a thumbs up, a positive one, or a thumbs down, negative one. What was the final rating for Kara's recipe? We can use reasoning to estimate the final rating. There were more thumbs down votes than thumbs up votes, so the final rating is a negative number. Begin by using integer chips to represent the ratings. Use a yellow chip to represent 1 thumbs up, or positive 1. Use 4 yellow chips to represent the 4 thumbs up. Use a red chip to represent 1 thumbs down, or negative 1. Use 5 red chips to represent the 5 thumbs down. Make 0 pairs to find the total. Each pair of -1 and +1 chips is a 0 pair and represents 0. There are 4 0 pairs and 1 red chip. The final rating for Kara's recipe was -1.
Playing golf, Mike got a +2 on the first hole and -2 on the second hole. What is his combined score for the first 2 holes?
So we are adding these integers. So that means we have 2 on his first hole plus -2 on the second hole. And with golf, what that means is how many times you had to swing the golf club. So if we add that together, we have 2 plus a -2. If you look at that on a number line, here's 0. We use a different color. Start at 0. He got +2. So I'm sorry, I went the wrong direction. I'm sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we had +2 here was his first swings, and then -2 would then go back to, and so what would his score be? His score would be a 0, and that's how you would solve that. As you can see here, they wrote it out. 2 plus -2, the same way that I did with you. And it shows here the signs are different when you do the absolute value. They should both turn into 2's. 2 minus 2 is 0. So his combined score was 0.
Find each sum.
So let's find the sum of -66 plus 42. Without the number line, let's look at this. If we found the absolute value of each, that would be 66 plus 42. However, the greater symbol is negative. The greater number is a negative number. So actually, let me rewrite this a different way. If we were to put -66 plus 42 this way, you have that negative there. You're essentially subtracting the 2. So 6 minus 2 is 4, and 6 minus 4 is 2. And then the dominant sign is the negative sign, so it would be -24. And let me see if I can show you briefly on a number line so you can see what is happening here. So if I have, excuse me, -66, and I'm adding a +42, right? That means that I will be going in this direction to add that 42. So if I'm going this direction to add the +42 to that -66, that means that my negative would be a smaller negative like 24, but it's still going to be negative because that positive number is not more than that negative number. So I just want to give you that visual to go along with this written this way. So let's try the next one. We have negative 57 plus 57. Well, in this case, we saw with that other example with the golf, his score, Mike's score, it was -2 and +2. They're the same number, but on the negative spectrum and on the positive spectrum, that simply would equal 0. So that's that answer. And then we have 29 plus -28. So plus -28. And in this case, again, you will subtract. 9 minus 8 is 1. And so the difference between those two is 1. And in this case, it's going to be a positive because 29 is greater, and that's a positive number. So our answer or our sum is going to also be positive.